All right, here we go. This is Mitch for Indigenous Insights. Welcome to the show. This week, we have the lead singer from Midnite Express, Opie Day. Midnite Express has multiple albums out. You, on your own, have albums out as a solo artist. Welcome to the show.
Miigwech, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here and honor to be talking with you today.
I'm glad to have you. I've been listening to your music for a long time. So other than what I just kind of mentioned, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, I'm a Voice for It Band of Chippewas enrolled member out of northern Minnesota. I've been born and raised in the Twin Cities my whole life, but I'm currently living in Bismarck, North Dakota with my wife and kids and enjoying this fine layer of snow we have here this morning.
You got snow there this morning?
Yeah.
You just get it overnight?
Yeah.
Oh man, we just got rid of ours, but I heard some's coming back.
So tell us what we got coming your way.
Oh man, I knew it. I didn't think it was going to be over yet. Tell us about your community. Tell us about where you're living at, where you're from.
Well, like I said, I've born and raised in the Twin Cities, metropolitan area. So it's the Twin Cities is a big hub for tribes, coming from Wisconsin, South Dakota, North Dakota, and it's a pretty well big community. For native wise, they have Ho-Chunk people there, Lakota people, Dakota people, obviously Ojibways, Menominee, Potawatomi, all that. So being raised in the city, there was always Indian people around, and it was a pretty well knit community. Like I said, I'm currently living in Bismarck, North Dakota, with my family. So it's been a little of an adjustment moving here, but we live here on the United Tribes Technical College campus, and it's pretty good. I enjoy the quietness of it.
There you go. What about the weather? You mentioned snow. I mean, do you like the weather there? You like the climate?
The weather's pretty bipolar at the time. Just Saturday, I believe it was like 70 degrees, and we grilled out. We had a barbecue, and then kids got up for school this morning to snow. So it's all over the place.
That's the way it goes. So let's talk about your singing. When did you start getting on a drum and start singing?
Well, I've been around the drum since I've been a baby. Funny story. My dad, when he was alive, he used to have a bass drum, and I used to always, be climbing on his drum. My mom ended up making me a circle pillow that fit right on top of his drum, and that's where I would nap. And but it wasn't until I was about 9 or 10 that I got seriously into singing, and I've been singing ever since. My mom, my aunts, my family, they did I don't want to say a ceremony per se, but they did a doings that isn't
Oh,
sorry, it was my little guy hurt himself.
that's all right.
They did a doings where they invited all the singers from our area in the Twin Cities to over to our house, and they gifted all of them, and it was through that I earned my way on the drum. They say I paid for my way onto the drum by gifting all the singers from our area something, feeding them, and from there it's been I've been singing ever since.
So I was like 9, 10 years old.
Yes.
And so like what caused that shift at that time? I mean, was it that event and getting to know those people? I mean, what was it that clicked in your head like this is my area?
Well, I was always attracted to the drum. I always felt a bond, a feeling that brought me around the drum wherever we would be at. We'd be at powwows around the cities or ceremonies, whatever. I always found my way to the drum. And I always, something inside of me just knew I wanted to be a singer. That's what I wanted to do. And like I said, I always found my way, little guy going up to the drum, watching singers, going drum to drum at powwows, just watching, learning at that time. And
Any early leaders in your head that you remember from back in the day, watching them, thinking like, I want to be like those guys?
oh yeah, one of my mentors, he has since made his way, to the star world. But the late great Johnny Smith was one that I owe a lot to as a young man. He was in our area in the Twin Cities. He was very well known for his singing ability, his song making skills. His the knowledge of song, everything. He was a very, very famous man, known for singing. And not only that, he was a teacher at the Heart of the Earth Survival School in Minneapolis. So many of us young men from the Twin Cities, we all learned under him. And what he took a real liking to me. It took me kind of under his wing and taught me a lot. There's many other singers though. The late Eugene Red Day, Jigs Kingbird and the Little Earth Singers, Rick Stewart, Chops Beaupre, Richard Beaupre, so many singers. Like I said, the Twin Cities was a hub for people. So we were very, very blessed to have been the home for many awesome singers.
So when do you think that you kind of took that leap from being the learner to somebody to being that teacher, to being the influence of someone saying, I want to be like him now?
It's funny that you asked that, because for the longest time, that was a role that I really wasn't too comfortable with. The way I looked at it was I was always the one learning. I mean, I still learn every day. I learn something new, but it wasn't until just, I would say, the past year and a half or so that I kind of realized that, hey, I'm the older one now. I remember Johnny Smith telling me one time, sitting across from him at the table, and him saying, one day you're going to be sitting here where I'm sitting, and you're going to have young men sitting where you're sitting, asking you all these questions that you're asking me. And it wasn't until about, this year so that I kind of started to embrace that role, that responsibility. I've been so grateful to have been looked after by so many awesome men, singers, who've taught me a lot and have shared with me a lot. And I feel it's my responsibility to pass on what little I know to the next generation. There's a lot of young men who look to me for with questions and whatnot, and I do my best to help them out in any way I can. I also have boys. I have sons who are singers now themselves in their own right, and wanting to pass on, what I have to them also.
Awesome. I like that. So this is like a little bit of a different note here. I had a brief stint teaching language and culture. And during that time, I'd like to show the students YouTube videos so they could really see drum groups and watch drum groups, not listen to the music, because, well, and I especially show Midnite Express because I really like the dynamics with the hand signals and just the communication that happens back and forth. Could you please talk a little bit about that system of what happens on a drum? A lot of people don't know that happens.
Well, I can speak of what I know. I know it's different for every drum group, but like with the hand signals, I really I owe a lot of that to my older brothers, the late Terry St. John, and to my adoptive father, the late Larry Kozad. Those were two men that I watched a lot, and I learned from. And it was, to me, it was almost like they were being like, how would you say, like a conductor in an orchestra or something.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They had these symbols, these things they would do with their hands, and everybody sitting around the drum, and even the women singers behind them understood what was going on. I remember watching Larry Kozad one time at Redder's Powwow, and they were singing. It was for Grand Entry, and they were singing, and he put his stick down, and he went like it was both hands behind him. He went like that, like And at one time, all the women singers behind him all stood up all at the same time. And I remember thinking like, wow, that was like one of the coolest things to watch. And then even watching, you know, how sometimes in grand entry, they'll go from drum to drum to drum, you know, and like him, the signals he was doing to let the other drums know that they were up next, you know, they're coming up. Like, I thought that was so awesome. And so I took, you know, from them and kind of made my own, you know, signals, I guess, you know what I mean? And to let the singers know who's going to lead next, when we're going to pick the beat up, you know, drop the beat down, things like that, you know.
There's a lot communicated in that. I mean, there's a lot of communication there. Sometimes you watch a video and like you try to give a lead to somebody, they don't want it. You have to give it to some. I mean, it's really cool. I use that same example, a conductor with their symphony, like they're making moves on the spot. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's funny because that, like, I've done quite a few. I've done my share of interviews about singing. That's the thing. That's the first time I was ever asked about the hand signal thing. It's pretty cool.
All right, well, we got one.
Yeah.
So before COVID hit, how often did you get together as a group, and how often do you get together now?
Well, before COVID, we would pretty much powwow every weekend, you know, and for round dance, you know, there's down here in the United States, there's been a flux of round dances have, you know, come up as of recently. So we would get our share of round dance. It's not like up in Canada where they, you know, they round dance every weekend during the winter, and sometimes, you know, they have a Christmas season where I think they round dance like 20-something days straight, you know.
Wow.
So, you know, it was nothing near that, but we had our share of round dances gatherings, and we look forward to all them. And with COVID, you know, it really put a damper on all that, you know, especially with powwows and that. So, you know, but I think over this past, since COVID started, we've been to, I think, 3 powwows, which we would, you know, hit 3 powwows sometimes in 2 weeks, you know, if there'd be a weekday powwow or something, you know what I mean? So it's taking its toll, but I'm very happy to be able to see that the powwows slowly but surely are starting to pop up again. We're seeing posters come up. I see you guys in Berga are having your powwow this year. I always loved going to that powwow, being in the middle of the trees like that. It was always an awesome feeling, the atmosphere, you know.
Yeah, we're pumped. I can't wait. Everybody's pretty excited for that. What do you think about the socially distanced powwow page that popped up during this time? I think that's pretty cool, utilizing technology.
Oh, man. Shout out to my brother Whitney Rencounter and Dan Simmons and Stephanie Hebert and all them for starting the social distance powwow page. Also a shout out to Fawn and Dallas for the virtual round dance page. You know, those have all, to me, have been blessings because, you know, I'm a singer. I love to sing. And not being able to gather and to travel and to share the gift of music with people, and to also receive them gifts, it was getting to take its toll on me, you know, mentally, spiritually. So by them, you know, starting these pages that allowed us to share, you know, songs and to be able to hear new songs and all that, it was awesome. It's still awesome, you know. And I'm a frequenter of all those pages, you know. I go listen to music, you know, and I, you know, look for singers to put out new music and all that, and to shout out to all the singers, you know, out there who have blessed us with music at this time. You know, it's been it's you guys are the real MVPs, because, you know, it's like we always say, you know, music is medicine. You know, music is, you know, singing is healing, and that, and it's gotten me through this tough time, you know, so I appreciate all y'all 100%.
Awesome. So this one touches a little bit about, well, like that leader role earlier. Recently, I seen on your Facebook page, when we just became friends here, you made a post. It was a photo of you, and I'm guessing it was your boy up next to a drum. And this is from what you said. This is from the post. Be someone they can look up to. I used to be scared of being that person, scared of the responsibility that came along with it. As I've gotten older, I've come to realize it's nothing to be afraid of, and that it's a wonderful feeling to do right, and my responsibility to be that person for these younger people. That was a longer quote than I thought it was when I copied and pasted it. But let's go into that a bit. Can you talk a little bit about what that fear was and how you sort of got through that?
Well, with anything, you know, especially with responsibility, there's a lot that goes along with it. A lot of times, people don't want to be looked at in that way for the simple fact that, there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with it, and I was one of them. For the longest time, I didn't want to be that person because, for one, I wasn't really on the right track myself, like being sober and whatnot, and it wasn't until I got on the red road and I was able to, to clean up my act a little bit, that I actually started to embrace that role. So before, when I wasn't in the right state of mind, I pushed that away. I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want, like Charles Barkley said, I'm not a role model, you know what I mean? But you get to a point in life when you realize that no matter what you do, there's always, the little ones are always watching, and you need to understand that and realize that. And once I came to that realization, that whole embracing, being that person, because like I said, I have little ones too. I have children, I want what's best for them. I want them to be able to make, good decisions in life, and to think things through before they act on that. And in order for me to want that for them, I kind of had to start to be that person myself. I couldn't ask that of them until I was able to do that. So yeah, like I said, and I touched on it before, but the responsibility fact, I've as of recently, we've lost a lot of very special people to us, due to COVID, and just due to it's how life is, it's part of the life cycle. But realizing that a lot of these people who knew so much, knowledge keepers, language speakers and all that, I realized that we need to step our game up, I guess. The prophecy says the seventh generation will be the one to bring us into the future and that. And if we want a future for our kids, and we want to be able to be the proud people that we are with our doings, our culture, our spirituality, our songs, then somewhere we have to start, trying to teach that.
Very good. Words from a leader. Now, this question might be from a different track of your life, but I have to ask it. Like a decade ago, Mr. Ryan McMahon, comedian, very well known, you must know him, he put out a video which was a tryout video for Midnite Express, and when he was playing Clarence Two Toes. In the video, that he witnessed you stand up, punch a dude out of the drum, and then hit the honor beat in one smooth motion. I always knew if I had a chance to talk with you, I'd ask to confirm if this epic story was true or not.
I don't necessarily remember ever getting up and hitting somebody at the drum. I've done some I've done some crazy things while singing. I'm pretty famous for at a powwow in Whitefield, North Dakota. I lost my stick in the middle of one of the a song we were getting judged on in one of the biggest singing contests of the year. We were in the middle and we went to pick the beat up together, and I don't know what happened. I've never had this happen to me before in my life, but my stick just decided to take off, and it went flying. I didn't even know where it went. I mean, I was so caught up in the moment in the song that it was gone, and I didn't know what to do. So I kind of just like air drumming,
Yeah.
And then it just so happened that the stick went flying behind me. One of my buddies who was watching us sing saw it. He grabbed it, and he kind of snuck it under my arm while we were singing. And I grabbed it, and to try and make up for the embarrassing thing that just happened, I don't know what I did. I ended up like flipping the stick and then going right into the downbeats, like right,
yeah,
right on time. And a lot of people got a kick out of that video. They're like, "Oh, that was so cool! You did that." It didn't really feel too cool at the time. It was rather embarrassing, for me being the lead singer and the one who, kind of controls the beat and whatnot. To lose my stick, it was, in one of the biggest contests of the year. It was quite quite embarrassing at the time, but I can look back on it now and I laugh because some people they share the video every so often. I get traumatized all over again, get flashbacks from what happened, But yeah, that's probably one of the craziest things I've had happen to me with a stick while singing. I don't think I've ever really hit anybody. I may have looked at somebody crazy or something, maybe, I don't know, you know what I mean? But yeah, Ryan McMahon he's a good Niji of mine, he's a good, and he when he was making a video, he asked me, he said, hey, he had made a video about before the hours, but for Northern Cree. He was auditioning for Northern Cree too.
Yeah.
And then he messaged me and was like, hey, I want to do a Midnite audition. He's like, what's off limits? And I was like, you can have at it however you want. And he like put these like sleeves on that made it look like his arms were like all tatted up, and had like a bald head, and had the towel, of course, we're big guys, so we have towels with us on standby, but yeah, it was great. I still go back and watch it from time to time just to crack up.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. He's actually a pretty good singer too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All around guy, funny guy, comedian.
All right, so what's the plan with this new world? You said powwows are starting to come back. Any new music in the works, new albums? You just looking to get back to normal? What's coming up?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Well, like I said, round dances have started to come back. We put on a round dance. I think it was last month or 2 months ago, somewhere like that, in the cities, and it was beautiful. That was the first round dance I'd been to in over a year. And we all had a great time. We did everything possible. We had temperature checks at the door.
Cool.
We were only allowing so many people in due to Minnesota state mandates. We covered that. We gave away the N95 masks. We had hand sanitizer everywhere. We kept name logs in case somebody got sick. We could keep everybody in contact, and it was a great time. Since then, other communities have called me, messaged me, and asked, well, what did you guys do? How did you guys go about it? And because of that, we've seen you guys have round dance. We're gonna have our round dance now, and we've been to a few round dances already this year. We're actually going to a round dance this Saturday in South Dakota, and like I said, we're making plans for some of the powwows that have released their posters and their dates and that, and then coming up in a few weeks, actually, we Midnite Express, we're gonna record our first round dance CD.
Cool.
We've done a lot. We over 20 something powwow CDs, a DVD, but we've never done a round dance CD. And I'm really excited for it. We got a lot of good songs, and we have some awesome guest singers who are going to be with us too. So it'd be like MNX and friends,
That's gonna be really cool. Hey, make sure you send one our way when it's out.
Oh, definitely.
All right, so last thing then, any last words for the listeners or the viewers out there?
Just like to, tell everyone, thank you for your ongoing support of, not only me, my family, but of our group, as well. And just, ask everyone to continue to stay safe. We do our part over here. We're all, vaccinated in our family, but we still mask up. We still carry hand sanitizer. Nothing is. I seen one of my friends made a post, and he said that for the people who get vaccinated, 90% of the people won't get COVID. For the 10% that unfortunately can still get COVID, 100% of them will not die from COVID. Now, to me, those are really good numbers, especially considering 20% of our language speakers, our knowledge keepers in Minnesota alone have passed away since this COVID epidemic started.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's unreal, So I would like to tell everyone out there to continue to stay safe, continue to do your part, but also continue to have belief in our ways. This drum is it's more than just a musical instrument to me, it's a way of life. I believe in the power of the drum, the healing powers it possesses. You know, our songs, our prayers. You know, continue to sound your drums, continue to sing your songs, continue to practice our ways, because you know, it we're gonna come back to these ways, you know, sooner or later. It's not gonna ever, I believe, be back to normal as we kind of knew things were, but you know, there's a sense of normalcy coming back, you know, and I believe it's because of everybody, you know, part of it being vaccinated, part of it everybody being safe, and part of it, you know, is our people, you know, never losing faith in ourselves. So just continue to do what you've been doing. You know, we appreciate, you know, everybody out there.